words of our mouth, the meditations of our heart, the stewardship of these hands be acceptable in thy sight. O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. This is Hype Central. Thanks for stopping by. And we wanted to wish everyone happy holiday season. And let's see, do I want to sing? I will sing a passage of scripture. How about that? Psalms 100. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know ye that the Lord, he is God. It is he that has made us, and not we ourselves. For we are his people, the sheep of his pasture. And we're to enter into his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise, being thankful unto him, and blessing his name. For the Lord is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endures unto all generations. Amen. All right, that's my song. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. If you don't have a pencil, I'm going to ask you to get a pencil or a pen. I'm going to do things just slightly different today as I talk to you about a memory that I had, and then we'll get right in it. So you'll understand in a few minutes why I'm asking you to get a pen. Just a little different. Here we go.
Oh, wait.
I remember. No waiting. We're going to get right into it. I remember many years ago. So I put all my information down on the phone, so periodically I will look down. So I remember working for a company for a number of years, Renee. Orkin Pest Control. Remember them? Remember them? They? During that period of time, I worked as a commercial pest control technician, certified in industrial, institutional, and commercial places. So I'll just begin there. And I remember, just like I wrote down, both the disgusting and yet satisfying times that I had searching out target pests. And just to give you an example, one of the target pests would be the cockroach. I would go into a place, sometime there would be a team of us to perform an initial, this is our first time being at an establishment, and we knew what the target pest was. In this case was a cockroach, as I began. Disgusting and yet satisfying. And we used to carry, those that are old enough to remember, because I don't know if they still carry what they call the System 3. There were the guns on either side, brass-handled devices that carried residual or either a flusher-out treatment of the target pest we were going after. So it was called the System 3. And what I mean by disgusting and yet satisfying, I would go in, one of the instruments was attached to, I think they called it a pyrethrin. And basically what it did is it kind of irritated the central nervous system of the bug. They'd come out, in a word, to sneeze or whatever. So that's how you found out where they were. So I would go in with my flashlight, I'd have my knee pads on, and I'm going under different areas. Usually the customer or the client will kind of let us know where they're seeing activity, and I would go at those areas with my flashlight, and I would take this little flushing agent and just burst here and there to see if we saw activity. And every now and then we'd hit a hot spot. That's what I mean, disgusting. And I'd have my hand there, you hit that hot spot, and they come falling down all over the hand. So disgusting, but yet satisfying, because we found the spot. And now we can take the residual and properly treat the crack and crevices. And just for the sake of the client, every now and then we do some knockdown if we saw, the bugs running around. But the process was called the SOS. That's what I'm getting to. This is my memory. I remember. So it was called searching out the source, or the SOS. Now keep that in mind as we go forward. All right. So I asked you to get a pen because I wanted you to write down these things for your convenience, and you'll understand why in a little bit. But in addition to doing pest control for a number of years, I also did security for a number of years. I keep looking up at the mic, so if you see my eyes straying up, I'm trying to look at the proper point to let you guys know I'm trying to point in on you. Not good at this yet, working on it. So another thing that came to mind is doing security. I did security for a number of years. You heard me talk about it in prior videos. And I told you, I think in one video, that I used to work in the Time Life building and so on and so forth. But in this particular building, I was in that building easily over 18 years. But anyway, working down in the lobby, I would see the different ones come in, and I got to know the different businesses that were in the building. It was about 27 floors, 26 floors. But one of the floors had the company called Univision. Those of the American Spanish language would probably say Univision, or something along those lines. And I'm saying that for a reason, because I'm headed somewhere. So after being there all those years, every now and then I would pick up a word here or there in Spanish to kind of relate or interact, or just to know. Because if I was going to Paris or something like that for the first time, I'd want to know some effective words, just in case, or some essential words just in case something would come up. I'd have something to draw from. I don't care if it's just my phone with Google interpretation, but something in hand. But I'm going somewhere with this. And then also there was a engineer that worked in the building who was of Hispanic or of Spanish, Latino, I don't know, background, I guess. But anyway, what stood out about him, he had nothing to do with Univision, but as an engineer in the building, he would come to the lobby desk and he would taunt us in Spanish. He would stand there and speak in Spanish, starting with, I think he would start off with, ¿Cómo está, señor? Something along those, something. I don't know. I don't want to chop up any words. And he'd stand there and he'd wait for a response. It was like, what? What do you want? No. He's standing there. He wanted us to speak back to him in Spanish. So I'm going somewhere with this. So that leads me to today's lesson. So those of you know that I come pretty much from an ecclesiastical background. I just heard the song one day, I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony, coming together, so on and so forth. It doesn't matter your religious beliefs or what you hold as moral truths along those lines. But one thing stood about the environment that I was now finding myself in, and there are those that understand, are quite informed in the language of tarot. See where I'm going? So I wrote down here, I wanted to move a little different and act as though a series of cards have been randomly selected during a general read that would help hopefully underline the storyline that I'm going to present on today. And today, I think I can safely say this is not one of those storylines that are a browbeater or something along those lines. I got the white flag out on today. So to underline the storyline I believe I was given to present to you today, and I actually took the time to type it out, and I did. I typed it out in my phone and transferred it over so I can read through. But the reason why I asked you to get a pen, these are the cards that actually came before me. These were this was what was presented in my mind's eye. So I thought I wanted to share it with you, those that are well groomed in tarot. Just for your pleasure. So for your consideration, these are the cards that presented themselves as I was preparing today's lesson. I have the Seven of Wands, the Ten of Cups, the Ace of Swords, the Three of Cups, the Nine of Cups, the Strength card, the King of Cups, the Hermit card, the Judgment card, the King of Swords, the Ace of Swords, the Hierophant, the High Priestess, the Eight of Cups, the World card, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Eight of Wands. Now, these are the cards that kind of presented themselves in front of me, and of course, I took the time to kind of do some background for myself, but I just wanted to share what I saw as it materialized in front of me, because I am not a student of card research. Some of you that may happen upon this are, so I just kind of wanted to share. But full disclosure, there were a couple of cards that I am not identifying at this point. Some I thought might have been self-serving, and that's not what I was trying to do, but I'm just kind of giving you an idea of what I saw. Full disclosure. So let me move a little bit further. So I read the cards. I had to go actually to my actually handwritten page of my phone, because it came to me like at in the wee hours of the morning, and I just kind of wrote it down then. So it's not in the typed area. So I'm hoping I'm not wasting your time and I haven't lost anybody. But here we go. So I've got, in addition to that, I've got you as an experienced reader can interpret, apply, or remove as you are intuitively given as you look over the cards that I just gave you, if you're even interested to look in that arena. Now let's get into today's lesson. Searching out the source. The lesson begins with these words. Who is my enemy? Who is my enemy? This lesson is taken in lieu of the holiday season, and you'll be able to understand why I'm saying that at this point. But who is my enemy? What came to my mind as I was going across that word was enemy. 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 As corny as that sounds, but enemy. So let's start there. Searching out the source. Because maybe I'll lay this down as a foundation also. This lesson is geared toward those who have 10 toes down. They're committed to the cause. Come hell or high water, some would say. I'm determined. This is the work that I see I need to be doing as a light worker, as a prophet, as a prophetess. Whatever your position is, whatever your calling is, you are determined come hell or high water. Nothing's going to sway you. Nothing's going to, what's that song? Stop me now. So you're determined. So as that, in going forward, every now and then we have to take time out to see where we are in our stance based on our mission. We have to identify some things in order to keep our road clear. So, who is my enemy? So I listed down some personal traits or character traits, and I wrote down unforgiveness, jealousy, anger, envy, vengeance, hate, hurt, ego, fear, isolation, whether self-imposed or no, or judgment. And that's just a start. So these traits being given to see if these things are active in you. Are they active in you? So if you find a hiccup or a slowdown in your mission to go forward, let's search out the source and find out what that hiccup might be, what that hindrance might be. So we definitely want to identify to make sure it's not in ourselves. Identifying the enemy, searching out the source. You pull out your flashlight. You pull out your pyrethrin or whatever you need to flush it out. You get before as the hermit, with his lantern, looking high and low and see if there's anything in there that might stand in the way of you progressing forward. So that's what I'm talking about. So who is my enemy? In me. Enemy. 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 Okay. As comical as that sounds, we want to start there. And then what came to mind after that, I've got, if not there, you're going forward, you're determined. But the energy is off. Balance is off. There's pressures that are apparent that aren't normally there. So that led me to this. It says, if not there, meaning you've done some internal research, you've checked yourself out. No one's perfect, I understand that, but you've checked yourself out. And you've checked off, the different things that I mentioned. Is there any unforgiveness in your heart? Is there any jealousy still lingering? Are you angry? Is there unnecessary anger, envy? Is there a vengeful activity going on the inside? Are you still harboring hate? So you've checked all the marks off. And you say, well, okay. So I'm taking you to the next step. So it says, if not there, if you didn't find anything there that would hinder your growth or your progress or your advancement or your elevation, it says, those who hold you as a target of erst or ire, or hold you as a double-tapped recipient of the feelings or emotions I just named, and then I'm going to stop there. Because I'm giving you what I got as I got it. And as I was writing down double tap, I said, double tapped? The first thing that comes to mind when I write down double tap is some of the movies I see on TV and those experienced an elimination and they want it done professionally. Y'all see where I'm going? I'm trying to be careful with my words because we still need to upload this. But I wrote down double tap and something on the inside checked. But it made me think. One of the things that made me think of a professional, let's say that's hired to do something, usually has done the research. They have done the planning. They've done the background. They've had some experience. It was planned out. It didn't happen. What do they call them on television? It wasn't a crime of passion. It didn't happen all of a sudden. They just grabbed what they saw and caught somebody upside the head, or it didn't. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the usurper. We're talking about the enemy who has targeted you out. Yes. Know exactly who you are. Know exactly what your stance is. Seize the determination. And you're the target of their ire, their erst. They have such a hate for you because of what you're doing. So, for me, now that I've written down double tap, so that's what that means, double tap. Double tap, double tap, double tap. It says, those who hold you as a target of erst, or hold you as a double tap recipient of their feelings or emotions of some of the very things I just named. They're angry for whatever reason, just full of anger about you, holding jealousy concerning you, envious, and so on and so forth. And then I've got down, I should have put but I've got regardless, should you be the kings. So like I said, this story isn't, I'm not browbeating today. I remember talking to Renee every now and then before the day starts. We'll sit down at this table and she'll have her coffee and I'll have my coffee and we'll talk about things. And one of the things I mentioned to her was we ought to go to, for an example, Amazon and look for a certificate, a certificate of accomplishment. When you start out maybe doing things that are for other people's good because you want to, you feel led to. I don't care if it's just helping somebody across the street, but you're doing what you feel is the right thing to do. There are times you're not going to get a pat on the back. Somebody's not going to come along. There are times people won't come along and say, attaboy, or good job. So every now and then, bear with me in this folly, there's, neighbors and all of that, but every now and then you got to encourage yourself. I apologize first, right? So
I said to her, maybe we ought to go and invest in a certificate, and I'll put it up on the wall, because since we're starting out, this is new, and not many know about us and all of that. So in the meantime, over these last 4 months, well, let's just encourage ourselves and go from there. But I'm starting off by saying, should you be? And I also said in the beginning, it doesn't matter your religious beliefs at this moment, but you're for good, and you're for going after good, and offering assistance and help where you are. I don't care if you're simply just following the golden rule, but your purpose in life is to be of help to someone outside of yourself. So should you be the king's special guest, I wrote down? Should you be a qualified heir, or those that are like me that come from the ecclesiastical background, or should you be a joint heir? Should you be the firstborn of your family, or simply the apple of the universe's eye, or the apple of the great mystery, or the apple of Ra, or the apple of divine, or the apple of sovereign, or the apple of God, or the apple of the Lord Adonai, or the apple of El Shaddai, or the apple of Yeshua, or the apple of Jesus, or the apple of... You're special. This is what I'm here today to tell you in this holiday season, that whatever job you're doing on behalf of multitudes, you're special. I wrote down, no matter the seething vengeance felt or seen by the enemy. And I take this from the 23rd Psalms. It says, a table has been prepared for you. And that table that is prepared in the presence of your enemy. It's prepared in your honor. It has been properly accentuated. Hey, Renee, she just stepped in the kitchen, y'all. That's why I'm hollering. Not that TV tray. Y'all know yesterday was Thanksgiving. We had the TV trays, and we were looking at, I think it's called Top Boy on Netflix, but we had the TV trays eating our Thanksgiving dinners. But that's not what I'm talking about now. You're an honored guest. You are the elect. You are the called. You are the appointed. Yes, some anointed. His special guest. It says this table has been properly accentuated. Not the TV tray, Renee. In front of the TV screen with a paper towel for a napkin. Even if we had Chinette, that's some of the best paper plates. Even if that's not what I'm talking about. Because you're the apple of the universe's eye. Come hell or high water, you're going forward, doing the work that you've been assigned to do. I wrote down the Chinette considered the better paper plate. But on this table that has been prepared in front of your enemies, the best china, silver and gold cutleries, accessories line the table. And not just any place, but at the celestial or terrestrial dining hall. Can I play, y'all? Can I mess around? Like I said, this is not a browbeater. I'm here to encourage on today. Located in the dining hall, and you're given the best cloth, hey Renee, to dap with. Ah! Let me keep on. They've hired a sommelier to select and to pair the best wines, the white wine, the red wine, with the 7-course meal or the 10-course meal or whatever is being served, because you're the firstborn. You're the heir, the joint heir. I've got the sommelier has matched the best reds and whites for each cuisine or each course. And then you have a top tier wait staff. Hey y'all, it's in front of your enemy. The enemy that's been trying to take you down. The enemy that's been trying to slow you down. The enemy that's been trying to take you out. But in this holiday season, you're a special guest. You're seated at the best table. The top line sommelier has been hired to pair the best wines with each course, down to the dessert. I've got down here the top tier wait staff happily awaits to tend to your every need. This is for you. The work that you've been doing for God's people, holding them up, giving them warning, giving them direction, offering them solutions, giving them advice, counsel, private counsel. You've been doing that. And the master of the universe is saying on today, I'm preparing the table just for you because of that. Yeah, I know money is good. Yes, I know gifts is good. But the master of the universe is doing this just for you. It goes on to say, no expense has been spared for the succulent feast spread before you, right in front of your enemies. Let me stop right there, because in my mind, as I was writing this down, this wasn't all plotted. I'm giving it to you as I got it. One of the things that came to mind as your enemies, I mean, they're seething. They're watching you with all this special treatment. But aren't you special? Haven't you been called? Haven't you been appointed? Haven't you been positioned in different parts of the globe to aid God's people? Now they're standing about. But one of the things that stood about is this. That sommelier, for an example, top tier, pairing the best wines. It's not your enemy that's serving you. Or let me ask you a question. Would you want that sommelier serving you? Or that wait staff, the top tier wait staff? Would you want that to be one of the enemies standing around watching you being catered to, serving you at that point? I know some of y'all can be narcissistic and ego-driven, and yeah, you want one of your enemies to serve your meal on the fork. I got you. No, you don't want that. In fact, these, the top tier, not only are they top tier and special, they're in awe of you. They're in awe of you as they serve your wines, who you are, the best wines that aren't normally given out. And when they go back into the dining kitchen, they take a sip because they don't know the next time. They'll be able to get a sip of that wine. Y'all hear what I'm saying? And that wait staff, it's just not any wait staff, not somebody they just hired out or called up and say, send us somebody. No, they're in awe of you. First of all, this engagement, what it's all about, the luxury of it in every area. And not only that, they want to know who you are and why you're so special. You think if it was the enemy on that side, they'd be concerned about that? No! Didn't I just talk about double tap? There's a guy I used to work with. He used to say every now and then when people come along and they're trying to introduce themselves, and they say when they pat you on the back, he said that just bothered him because it felt like they were taking a knife and putting it in his bag. He didn't like that. But no, this wait staff, not only are they in awe of what's going on, they're curious. They want to know more. And yes, them too. When they go back to the dining kitchen, whatever you didn't eat on that plate, those succulent dishes, they have a chance to sneak a piece here and sneak a piece there. Come on, wouldn't you do it? Huh? I'm moving on. That was my sidebar. Right in front of your enemies. And then out of all the cards that I named, I left out one intentionally, and that card is cornucopia. Cornucopia. Hear me what I say. If we hold fast and faint not, keep pressing forward in the call that we have been called to, do you not know what awaits you? Yes, we know about karma. Yes, we know about dharma. Yes, some believe in the afterlife and all of that. I understand. But those of us that have yielded ourselves to the divine, I don't care what you believe. You're a Buddha. You believe in yoga. I don't care. Your purpose is to push forth good and light, to instruct, to admonish, to encourage, to build up, to warn, to advise. And for that, the great mystery, the Lord God Almighty, whoever he is to you, the master of the universe, is pleased with your efforts. I'm moving on. I've got cornucopia indeed. Yes, we are thankful, and the best is yet to come. But you got to know this. Hear me what I say. You've got to know that the best is coming, and you've got to know it with an expectancy. Don't just say the words, because it is coming. And can I tell you a secret? No matter what it looks like, because there's going to be some stuff thrown up your way. It's like, I can't. No. Not what I'm seeing. No. Yes! It's coming. It's coming. I've got this inheritance belongs to the beloved, whether celestial or terrestrial alike. Because listen, no weapon that is, that has been, or attempted, formed against us shall prosper. And every tongue that rises against us in judgment shall be condemned. It behooves us to give thanks for where we are and who we are, because it is our inheritance. Did it feel like a browbeat? That wasn't it. Just wanted to encourage. The table has been spread just for you because of your efforts and your intentions to do the will of divine, to walk in the path given you. Some of us were drafted, like me. I was drafted in. I didn't step out and say, I want to do this and I want to do that. I didn't come out with a plan. In fact, Renee, I think it was almost this time last year that we had gotten the paperwork in order, almost a year, right? In December, all the paperwork is in order. Mm-hmm. But we were in the whole position. I remember telling her one day when I was on my knees, I heard the words green room. I was like, what the heck is green room? But that's what I heard. And I had to look it up, and I was getting an understanding why, nope, not yet. Not yet. But I was getting antsy. You called. So I'm waiting for the release. And y'all, before the words that I gave, it has been some kind of week, busy and all type of pressures. And what's the date on this? Because the date I was given, I think this message was, like the 21st of this month. So I just been sitting on it, waiting for the time and opportunity to share it with you. And there's another thing I want to share too, because something came to me 1 a.m. I wrote it down, like 1:07 in the morning. Let me see, 1:07 on 11/17/22. So I usually have my phone by my bed, so if something comes to mind, I can pull out my stylus and write it down. So I either did that there or I did it in the restroom after I got up. But it might not mean anything. But the way God, well, before I say this, listen, some of the cards that I named, the tarot cards that I named, the King of Cups. I didn't know what it was, Renee. Remember that day I told you that in my dream, I found myself on something in the middle of the ocean. There was nothing else around. I said, oh no, I'm not looking down, I'm looking over, da 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 da. But as I began to do research, I was like, it was like I was living the King of Cups. It represented for me the King of Cups. I had another dream where I walked into a room and I stood around. And as I was gazing, all of a sudden, right in front of me appeared the high priestess in all of the garb that you see on the card, on the typical card. Right in front of me. And then immediately I heard the song, he was there all the time. He was there all the time, waiting patiently. I know somebody's out there saying, you blaspheming. Because of the background we come from. But that's what I can only tell you what I heard and what I saw. Right in front of me, seated, the high priestess. I told y'all about one we actually did a video on. I heard the words, enjoy the King of Swords. So I looked around. What? That's where that came from, because of what I heard. It's almost like I'm living these cards that are being used. Why? I don't know. But as I see it, I give it. Now back to what I saw here. 1:07 a.m. on 11/17, I heard the words, Leech's Key Cry. Now, it wasn't too long after we had the video talking about video games. You know, the ones. So I looked up, because I have up above here, it has something to do with, I think, Assassin's Creed or something along that. I can't see it now. I don't want to waste any more time, but something to do with Assassin's Creed. But as I was previewing for this lesson today, I was like, maybe the spelling. Because I spelled it just like I did on my phone here. I've got Leeches. I thought it had to do with leeches. And when you look at one of those games, I think it was Assassin's Creed, somewhere in the play, they face off with a leech. But then today, as I was researching what I'm giving to you, hopefully to encourage you, I spelled it differently. And it came across on Google to a place in Florida. There's actually a place in Florida called Leech's Key. Key. But the operative word was cry. And I got concerned. I said, should I have said something sooner? Is something going on in Florida? I don't know. But I'm saying it now, making it known. But that's what I heard distinctly right before I woke up, because I wrote it down on the phone. Leech's Key Cry. Is something going on in Leech's Key in Florida? I don't know. But there you go. That's what I have. So if it's not the game, it has something to do with Florida. But I'm just giving you what I got. So if I were to give you the lesson, I would say, yes, we should be thankful, but the universe is thankful for you. Especially those that are determined to walk in the ways of rightness, to walk according to the duties of light on behalf of those that the universe has birthed out. Continue going forward and do it in love. And that's all I got, y'all. Enjoy your holiday season, and we'll see you on the next time. Thank you for stopping by.